What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the lab. My name's Andrew and we're off on another build adventure here. Today I am getting myself into something totally new. I'm going to be making a spear gun and we're going fishing with it. So to kick this build off, we've got to vacuum bag our stock together. It's a mahogany and carbon fiber sandwich. I've got all of my material prepped for bagging, my breather, my peel ply, and my vacuum bag. I'm going to enlist some help from Jeff on this one, and we're going to get going. So we got everything all wrapped up. Thanks, Jeff, for the help laying all of this up. We've got both of our layups prepped. Now it's just time to assemble the bag and pull back in. So we got this thing all bagged. Jeff and I are chasing some holes in the bag. Remember, pro tip, make sure there's no sharp corners on your melamine or on your wood or whatever you're bagging, because that thing will puncture. These vacuum pumps are strong enough to do that. We've had this happen a couple times. Luckily, some vacuum bagging tape, gum tape's what it's called, and you can plug those up real quick. So we saved this totally fine, but we're gonna turn the pump back on in a sec, make sure all the other holes are sealed up, and then we're gonna let this go for a couple hours.
A little later.
You hear that? It's alive. All right, so it's day 2 on the spear gun build. It's time to demold these, but before we get to that, we have a really busy day ahead of us. We have to do 5 different cuts on the Avid CNC with the stock and the trigger, and then we're heading over real quick to the Anycubic resin printers to get some custom grips going. So I'll see you over there. Demold time! Boom. There it is. So it's a little uneven. We're gonna head over to the wood shop and we're gonna square this whole thing up. As soon as it's all squared up, it's time to start cutting it on the CNC. Jeff's gonna be helping me with that. So let's get over there, square it up, get it ready for the Avid, and then we'll get cutting. That looks so good. No, this thing actually came out absolutely amazing. I mean, this was the result I was hoping for. I think there's 6 layers of uni-directional carbon in there, and this thing is straight as an arrow now, and this thing has to be so strong. Those finger joints actually worked out perfect. Come check them out. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of filling to do, but I think overall this thing it's good to go. So now we're gonna head back to the Avid CNC, throw this thing on there. I'll double check my cam work with Jeff, and we'll get this thing cut. Time to cut this puppy out and see how well we did matching both of those sides up on the CNC yesterday. Put a drum roll in here real quick, Ross. Ready? Dun, dun, dun. It looks like I thought it would. All right, so we're over at the AmeriBraid. We're gonna clean that slight little offset from the 2-sided machining up with this guy. I just got this nice and square with this combo square. I want this plate to be dead 90 with this backing plate so I can let all of that do the work to line these up really nicely. I just need to take my time moving this back and forth to match up this side, the proud side, to the side that I'm gonna go with. So I'm gonna mask up, carbon dust is no good, and I'm gonna get going. So I just finished up on the AmeriBraid. This thing came out so great. We've got our trigger mechanism. I don't know if I showed you guys this yet, but it's a reverse trigger. So it actually engages the shaft right here a couple inches back, so you get a bit of extra pull from your bands and exponentially more power. We just CNC'd this up this morning. It's time to test the fit. Hopefully it does fit. I kind of made the tolerances a little tight. Ooh, how about that? Press fit right where it needs to be. I'm guessing there's a little bit of cleanup I'm gonna have to do in there, but ooh. All right, next up, I guess, is the shaft. The shaft is the spear.
That's what she said.
So we routed that groove this morning. Sits beautifully in the groove, and then should line up right in there. You pull the trigger back. Amazing. Check that out. All right, I'd say we're like 50% of the way there. We got our stock, we got our trigger already, we got our shaft groove done. Now it's really just shaping and getting this handle on there. So let's keep going. Yay. It's perfect. It's actually done too. This is the final shape. It's really just an abstract expression of a handle, but this is the final handle shape. See? We ignore all ergonomics to explore other ideas.
Andrew went to art school.
But now I left a little, like an 1/8 inch onion skin that you can see in there. We buzz in that groove, that profile on the bandsaw, and then shape it to this final shape, and we'll see how well it lines up. How about that? Yeah, it's pretty even, slight little offset over here, but not as bad as we thought. There's a little bit of tear out, as you can see, but this is all material that just needs to get glued in, and we'll shape all of that out. So total win. Tomorrow we'll really get this profile done, we'll get it glued in, and we'll get the grips going. So we'll see you tomorrow. It's time to get the handle in here. So what I need to do is I've got to get that nice and smooth, and then it's time to slide this thing into the sliding dovetail, get this glued in there, and then hopefully this afternoon we'll get this gun finish shaped and we'll get all of our hardware pinned in. The bands for the gun came in the mail, super exciting. The red. I like red.
I like turtles.
So now that this is all set, it's time to do the glue up, and for that we're going to be using some high performance and some milled fiberglass. We have our specialist here to explain what that is. Yes.
Milled fiberglass. So it's just little chunks of fiberglass, like the glass strands that make the fiberglass, all cut up into tiny little pieces. And if you look at it, Graz, we won't breathe it in, or I'll try not to touch it.
Everyone hold their breath.
You can see, I mean, it's very finely milled, and it's kind of shiny and sparkly. Kind of looks like snow.
Looks like cotton candy.
Cotton candy. Yum. All right, that's it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's what we're using. He's gone back to his cave. So I'm gonna go get all of this stuff set up, and then it's glue up time. So this thing is all cured up. The handle came out really amazing, and it's finally time to shape it. I quickly just reassembled everything. The trigger guard is in there, the shaft is in there, and when I pull the trigger, there it goes. So I'm gonna start shaping away this thing with the power carver from Arbortech. So let's get going. So I just finished up power carving the blank. Things look really good. I got it to a point where then I can go in with a simple block plane and start to clean everything up after that. Start to sand this, blend its lines, make it a bit more organic. And hopefully we'll go check on the scales once I'm done with this and they'll be ready to go. So the scales came out, they look perfect. What's so amazing about resin printing is you can print solid and it's incredibly smooth. This stuff, we've done a few prints with it now and it's really strong, but we're not gonna use these on the knife. We're actually gonna modify these after they go through the wash and cure. We're gonna cast them in some smooth-on silicone with those modifications, a little bit of extra grip, and then what comes out of the silicone mold is the grip we're actually gonna put on the gun. These have to go through the wash and cure. There's a bath of alcohol right here that these drop into. They just swirl around in that for 10 minutes and then 2 minutes of cure time and they're good to go. I quickly masked off the spot where I want to brush on my grip. We're gonna be using this soft sand right here, rough texture. It's like a rubber pellet, and when we mix it in with the epoxy, it's gonna suspend in the epoxy and make a bunch of grit. Next up after that, when that is cured, we'll take the tape off and we're gonna pour some silicone around these and cast these. I've got my silicone all mixed up. We've got the grips with all the rubber pellets glued down and they're both hot glued onto a popsicle stick. So I pre-mixed all of the silicone here. I double mixed it. If you have any questions about mixing up Mold Star smooth-on products, head over to the channel. We have 2 videos done by the king of all of this, Philip Danner, where you can learn the in and outs of silicone. I just need to throw it in the vacuum chamber really quick to degas it, and then we can pour. All right, so we just degassed all of the silicone. So now we just need to throw some mold release on all this stuff so it doesn't stick. Thread it. Final resting place. Silicone coming in. And we're off. Claps all around. What do you think? You think that's enough? I mean, I could go like a little bit more, but I think I think I'll screw it up. So let's lock this in. Chunky nut, holding that down in place. We're gonna leave that alone. So I've got the stock of the gun probably 60% of the way shaped already, and I gotta stop before I get it too far ahead of myself. I have the trigger mechanism in its alignment guide, and this thing's perfect for the drill press. You can see the trigger is floating in here. I bolted it in through some alignment holes, and then this gets pushed in just like that. And now we know where we need to drill through for our pins and our little trigger release guard right here. So I've got my 3 different bits that I need, and it's time to drill these holes. All right, the gun is all finished shaped and it's time to get these grips out of here. So let me pull this off real quick and I'm gonna take this mold apart, and then it is time to cast these grips that have been a long time coming. So let's see if I can get this off safely. Boom. And again, the reason we went through all of this and we didn't just print it is because we're gonna put some of this milled glass fiber in our mix to make these things really freaking strong. Oh, there we go. So I got the milled glass fiber in the epoxy, and we are going with some ghost copper pearl from Black Diamond. It's a pigment powder. A little bit of this goes a long way. Working it slow. pouring time. Get in here, man. Come on. Come on. How about that? All right, so we just did the pour. Everything went ship shape. Now we're gonna let this cure overnight. We'll come back in tomorrow. We'll demold it, fit it to the gun handle, and then it's time to finish shape everything. If we don't like this color, we'll do another pour in the morning, but I'm pretty stoked on it. We'll see in the morning, I guess.
24 hours later.
All right, so it is another day on the Speargun build. I don't even know what day it is anymore, but it's finally closing in on the end of this thing. We have our grips to get on today and some finish to put on. So we're gonna demold the grips right now, and we're gonna be using some of this sweet stuff, the XO Fast Cure. It is a reinforced 2-part resin that gets mixed through this little tube, and it fills voids really well. Super strong stuff. That's what we're going to be gluing these grips on with. Once those are on, we're going to throw it in an oven for a little while, maybe 2 hours at 120 degrees. That'll cook. Once that's done, we get to finish shape all of this beautiful curvature to match my hand really nicely. And once that is done, it's time to put some finish on. We're going to brush this whole thing with high performance, and the rest is history. So let's get into it. This is fresh. I was going to, but I would not be able to get them back in. How about that? Good casting, a little bit of silicone left in there. Oh no! Got a little bubble here, but I mean that's going to be totally captured, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's get number 2 out. And I'd say that's perfect. So I'm going to clean these up really quick, probably clean up all these jagged edges on the AmeriBraid, start matching them to the CNC'd handle, and then we'll glue these suckers on. The gun is out of the, wait, come in here, come on. The gun is out of the oven and these things glued up beautifully. It's time to shape this. We're gonna go, start to blend this curve on the AmeriBraid, and then we'll come back. And I'm just gonna be here for a while with the Dremel shaping everything nice and smooth. All right, so the gun is all finished sanded up to 320. It's time to put our protective layer on the gun. We're going to be sealing it with high performance slow so it can set in there. Graz won't be here tomorrow, so I can get another coat on. And then the day after that, we assemble this thing. We really want to seal it up. That high performance is just going to lock everything in place, and that is what we need. This thing is going to have a lot of pressure on it. Any more strength we can get is good. So let's get going. That's how epic it is. That's how epic it feels. It's Friday. You know what that means? Graz is back. And you know what that means? It's finish day. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. We're kicking off the day, throwing down some Halcyon clear gloss varnish, 3 coats. We've got our setup here all ready to go. And then once this is dry, I made a few parts while Graz wasn't here yesterday. Those get screwed on, and this thing is ready to go. So I'm going to mask up. We got our PPE on. Let's get some clear varnish down. The Halcyon went down absolutely amazing. Super stoked on how it came out. It laid down really flat. I kind of had to spray it on a little heavy, but I mean, this is a pretty damn good finish if I say so myself. Let's peel this tape off real quick. Get that nice reveal shot of those grips that we made. Damn. Get this bad Larry off too. That looks good. So here it is, guys. The spear gun is all done. We put all the hardware on this thing and it came out beautifully. We didn't want to bore you with that because you guys have seen this thing come to life. And it's time to go get a fish with this. So we're heading down to the beach. We're going for some tautog, maybe some stripers or flounder. We don't know yet. We've got a few locations we're scoping out now. So we'll see you there. So here it is, guys. That was a huge success. We got ourselves a tautog. We brought it back here and we cooked up some pretty damn tasty tacos, if I say so myself.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below if you guys want to see something new get built, something along this line, something completely different. We're looking for your ideas. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and we'll see you in the next one.